talk about our topic for today is what are your goals? How do you manage your goals? And that could be personal goals, that could be business goals, that could be short-term goals, long-term goals, anything. It's really tough to get anything done if you don't set goals, in my opinion. What do you have any? Do you typically try and work from short-term goals, long-term goals? I know they're all kind of interconnected, but
well, me myself, I have like a long-term goal of amping it up, getting it out of the house into a small warehouse or something, and buying more in bulk, liquidation pallets and stuff like that. But although that seems to be a really good goal and my final end goal, what I need to do, I think that I haven't been doing, is I need to create some shorter term goals, because that being the end goal is great, but I need to start doing real short term goals, like today goals. Like I need to get these 2 bins listed today. That needs to be the goal today, because in that end goal, without having the short-term goals, it doesn't seem like I'm getting any closer.
Right. And that's a great point. I think I did a video on it a while back about how to kill your death pile. Obviously I didn't follow my own advice, but I think that's a very good inventory, and death piles and something like that is a very good subject to apply goals to. If you say I've got that death pile and I'm gonna kill that death pile, that's how long is it gonna take you? You guys work within its goals. Don't do any good unless it's an attainable goal, in my opinion. I could say my goal is to sell $3 million in product this month. Yeah, it's a great goal, but will I ever achieve that?
Right, exactly. And like I say, with my whole goal of getting it out of the house, so that's not going to happen unless some goals are met before that.
Right.
And
very much related.
Start setting, like I say, real short term, like daily and weekly goals to obtain that long end goal.
Right. And a lot of times those smaller goals help you build momentum, whether it's with listing or sales, or you want to source typically. Like, look at that. All right, let's put a time on it. It's 9:15. She's already brought him one.
Yeah, the size of this one, I mean, look, it's the size of my head, man. So I should only need one, hopefully.
But yeah, we were just talking about goals, and specifically with things like inventory and death piles and things like that, how you have to, sometimes set smaller goals that are attainable to achieve a larger goal.
Right.
And just like I said earlier, we can apply this to personal life. Not that we want to get down deep into everybody's personal life, but and I think I mentioned before on lives before, I've coached my son and my daughters all in sports. And I'm very much that, I can coach you and teach you a sport, but I can also, through those things that we do, those drills and things, I can teach you about life. And it's the same thing here. Just because we talk about business, some of the same concepts can be applied to your personal life.
Right.
Sure.
But so the whole idea of, like I said, an unattainable goal really does you no good, in my opinion. Yeah, it's nice to kind of set your eyes on the stars, but you, in my opinion, you've really got to set goals that are obtainable. And I think that's the problem. Talking about the death pile, if everybody has this pile of stuff, whether it's in one room, 10 rooms, you got a basement full of it, you feel overwhelmed, in my opinion. At least I do sometimes.
Definitely.
Absolutely, and that's why I said I think I need to create some daily goals, and just go to my desk pile, fill up one of my 20-gallon totes, and say, I'm not doing anything else until this is listed today. My goal is to get this listed one tote at a time, not look at this big mountain of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's typically how I run each day, because every day is different for me. I never know, what family obligations, ministry obligations, or just whatever's going to come up in life. So typically every day I'll set myself a goal. Okay, I'm going to do X number of listings, and I'm going to, I'm going to list from this portion of the pile. You know what I mean? I might grab like a tote full of plush one day. I might grab a bunch of video games another day. You know what I mean? It just depends. Like every day I wake up and it's like, all right, I feel like tackling this portion or that portion. And if you just focus on one small part, it's super attainable to get everything you want to get done in one day. Because if you try to tackle the whole death pile, there's no way you're going to get it unless you have like a smaller, death pile, like maybe under 20 items or whatnot.
Right. And that, I keep on saying, but that exact same logic, that same thought process applies to anything that is a larger goal. You're never going to get there unless you obtain smaller goals, smaller chunks that all wrapped up together are going to get you to that lofty goal, that larger obtainable goal. Like Tommy said, wanting to source differently, wanting to increase his sales, things like that. Well, you got to have steps to get there. You got to have smaller goals to get there. You can't just say, I want to increase my sales and, not
Right.
have a documented plan or at least a thought process. I need to take these steps, in my opinion,
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, all these goals can apply to personal life as well. But I know a lot of people have done like the momentum boards and things. Does anybody do anything like that, or do you have any way of visualizing your goals? And I'm talking to the chat too, not just the three of us.
I'm not organized enough for a momentum board. I feel like it would just depress me.
Right, and I
think it's a good idea if that's like the way your brain functions. You know what I mean? If that's your personality type, go for it. You know what I mean? But for me, like working for me, the best part about it is the feeling of freedom that I get from it. And if I'm micromanaging myself, I don't feel that way.
Right, that's true. But again, it's not a one-size-fits-all business. Just because Anthony does it that way doesn't make it right or wrong for anybody else. It makes it right for him because that's what works for him.
Right. And see, me and Destiny were actually just talking this morning that one of my biggest downfalls is being my own boss. Because there's nobody to answer to. If I smoke cigarettes and I say, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and take a 10-minute smoke break, and it turns into an hour and a half. There's nobody to get on my case. There's nobody I got to answer to. And that happens a lot because it's like, okay, I'm gonna run upstairs and smoke, and then we get into a conversation, and before you know it, check out what I seen on YouTube, and now I'm watching a whole episode that's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Where if I had a boss, I couldn't do that.
Right. And that's one of the hardest parts of this business. I mean, outside of the business part, outside of listing, it's hard to manage your time. I'm not very good at it. I'm not afraid to admit that.
I'm not either.
It's so easy to, like we were talking about goals with listing. You say, I want to list 20 items a day. And one day you don't make it. Maybe you list 12 or you list 5. And you get down on yourself. And tomorrow you don't list as much because something comes up. It's easy to get caught in that flow and that thought of, God, I didn't make it. Maybe I just won't work as hard tomorrow.
Right.
Let not meeting a goal keep you from trying and doing better the next day. If you're trying to list 15 a day and you list 5 today, say, hey, tomorrow I've got to at least list 7 because I got to do better than I did today.
Right.
It's tough. And it takes a lot of self-discipline. And that's, with that freedom, it's harder to have self-discipline, in my opinion, the freedom of being your own boss. And, it's not for everybody. I keep about 6 weeks worth of numbers on to see how many items I've listed each day. When I see several days of zeros, it encourage me to list an item or two. Yeah, I've got I think it's a 4.5, maybe 4.5 by 4.5, 4.5 by 3, something like that. Good sized whiteboard that I've had for a while, and I have not put it on the wall. I need to do that. Even if it's just to keep up with items, because like I've said before, reselling is my primary, but I also do some computer programming and things like that, and that's really picked up lately. So I've got to get to the point where I'm at least keeping up with, what needs to be done across both areas. But yeah, the momentum board is it can be good and can be bad in my opinion. It can, give you a jump start, like FGS was saying, that she looks at it and sees there's zeros, she needs to do something. But I've never done the momentum board. I know a lot of people have tried it. It's I don't know. It seems like, in my opinion, to be one more thing for me to keep up with.
Yeah.
I can definitely see benefits to it though. It's just do I need to spend my time doing that? I don't know.
I think a lot of it has to do with how are you as far as self-motivation. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm highly motivated because I need to make the money. You know,
Right.
what I mean? If I don't make the money, I can't go out and buy new inventory. You know what I mean? I can't contribute to the household. So for me, like I'm highly motivated because I'm motivated by earning more money.
Right.
But you know, like I don't have a full-time job or anything like that I need to do. So for me, it's a lot easier to get stuff listed and do the things I need to do. I could see like for a lot of people that, you know, maybe in the chat or watching that you do have a full-time job on the side or, you know, I mean, something else, you know, like for example, like children, young kids, even, you know what I mean? That would be something that would be a lot harder to stay motivated with because you'd have, you know, all the different parenting stuff to take care of. Like I don't have that issue either. You know what I mean? I have 2 dogs. I just have to take out to go to the bathroom a few times a day.
Right.
So for me, it's a lot easier to stay on track. But I could understand like it, maybe doing a momentum board if I didn't have the freedoms that I have.
Mm-hmm.
The prior one, Kanban, it's an agile methodology where you have columns. It's really cool. If you're working towards a goal sometimes, and they use it in development shops, there's a whole idea of agile development. You want to be as efficient and as quick as you can with getting work done. And again, you can apply this to any area, but you have a column of statuses for tasks. This one is kind of like your backlog of things. So you got sticky notes, and they do it up on a board on the wall. You've got sticky notes for tasks, and here's all my backlog of things I need to do. And when you pick one up to work on it, you put it on like in the progress tab and column, you know, or you've got one in development. You do, you know, documentation, you write code, you get it tested, you deploy it out to the wherever it's going, and then it's in production. So you've got, you know, a logical steps that apply to everything. You know, even, I know this would be micromanaging it in our business, but you know, taking an item from purchasing it to bringing it in the house to cleaning it to, you know, testing it to listing it, you know, and you would just move those items, but you'd always have, because if it's something you take that one item and you only clean it, you put it over there and you grab the next one, you clean it, you know. I know that's way over micromanaging that process, but that's kind of how it works. And it's really neat because it always gives you a view of where any given task is at any given point in time, because you can visually see where that sticky note is. And it's really cool. Yeah, it's different, you know, and everybody's got different ways of keeping up with it. Is it just a list of goals and where you are with that goal? You know, talking about more of a personal thing, I know, Anthony, y'all are going to Disney sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
Are you not trying to point you out here, but y'all have a board where you're keeping up with, hey, we got to save up this amount of money. We're at 50%. We got to work harder. You know, you got a goal. You've got a visual, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have a border. I mean, Ashley, Micah, she's one of those people that are real like numbers oriented, and like she writes down like every little thing that we need for bills, for vacation, for whatever we're doing. So she's super organized in that way. Thank God, because I'm not. Like, we'd be screwed if I was in charge of everything. I'm just being screwed up. But yeah,
Sydney says, do you like using whiteboards for goals and to track progress? Do I like to? Yes. Do I do it as much as I should? No. I think that gets down to that whole visualizing your accomplishments, you know. I know we were talking about listing and death piles and stuff like that, and Tommy said, yeah, I need to just grab that. I just need to grab that one tote and work on that one tote instead of saying, hey, working out of that whole death pile. And when you finish that tote, you say, wow, I just knocked out a whole tote of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, versus, oh, wait, did I just grab 3 things out of that pile? There's a visual, noticeable accomplishment with that item, you know. And it's not.
See, I don't use any like whiteboards or goal boards or numbers boards or anything. What I use and I pay a lot of attention to is my Seller Hub performance numbers, That's what I look at. That's what drives me. That's what says, hey, you're slacking off. You gotta pick it up a little bit, you know.
Right. And your sales numbers can be directly related to the effort you put in
Absolutely.
in your listing. You know,
Absolutely.
it's
I mean,
tough.
I know everybody talks about promoted listings, running sales, excellent photos, all that to drive sales, which it does. But I believe the one key, the most important thing is listing, because even if I do all those other things, if I ain't listing, my sales fall off.
Yep.
I don't do any of those other things and I'm listing, I still have sales.
Yep.
Maybe not as good as adding those other things in, but sales are directly connected to listing.
Oh yeah.
Listing you do.
Ciosa Sales, I think she said, if I remember right, I believe she's a part-time seller. She said, and I believe earlier in the chat, she said that she does eBay for debt reduction, and that's a great plan. She said her watching debt go down is very motivating. That's for sure.